behalf of I extend a warm and hearty welcome to all participants joining us today for another exciting session of the Intel AI Summer Camp 2025. We are delighted and honored to welcome our distinguished guest, Mr. Basim Rauf, a senior software engineer with extensive experience in the field of software development, coding education, and AI based solutions. Over the years, he has been involved in developing innovative software projects and conducting workshops that inspire the world of coding. Today, Mr. Basim will lead us through a highly valuable session on Python and coding for beginners. For those of you just beginning your coding journey, this session will open the door of countless opportunities in technologies and innovations. Once again, a warm welcome to Mr. Basim Rauf and to all our eager learners here today.
Thank you. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our session on coding Python and coding for beginners. I am Basim Rauf, and today I'll be guiding you through your first steps in coding. Okay. Today's goal is simple. By the end of the session, you will have written your first Python programs and built a small fun project. Okay. So let's start the session. Okay. So how many of you have heard the word coding before? What does it mean? So basically, coding is like giving instructions to a computer using a language that the computer will understand, right? So like you cannot tell it in English and it will not understand it properly. So we need to use a programming language. So Python is a programming language that we are going to use today. Okay. Python is used in games, websites, artificial intelligence, and like mostly in the data science domain, like everywhere. So today we'll be using Colab in Google so that you don't have to install anything on your computer. You can just do it on the browser itself. Okay, so we just create a new notebook. Okay, so this is the notebook here. So writing any code in Python is just simple as like just starting and writing like, okay, so if you write print hello, and then if you press the play button over here, it will run this code. It usually does not take this much time, but when you open a new notebook, it will take us a bit of time. So yeah, it says hello. So hello, if I type in hello in-depth learners, and hello in-depth learners, right? So what we wrote here is a line of code. It says print, and whatever is inside this brackets is what is printed. Okay. So yeah. So everywhere we cannot use like just strings like this. This is called a string. Okay. So sometimes we want to use different things. Like so, if I am writing like print hello Basim, and then somebody else comes in, so I'll say hello Omar, right? And then I'll write hello Ibrahim. It's like you're writing again and again, right? The same code. So instead of that, we can use the same thing, but like instead of writing the names like this, we can use something called a variable. Okay. So if I give name is equal to Ibrahim, and then I type in name over here, it should show hello Ibrahim. I can go ahead and change it again. We need to put it in double quotes. So it will show hello Omar and hello Ibrahim, right? So yeah. So I was giving all these values, right? So instead, if I want to use something the user gives, we would use something called an input function. So if I do like, what is your name? So it will show what is your name, and then it will ask to write something, right? And if I give my name as print fun, it will show the print function will say the same thing as read fun, right? So this can be useful when you want to make a program with like many inputs that you want to give it. Okay. So something like uh, what is your name? So this will ask for the name, and like you can give that age also, and then it should go. Then we can write. So I'll just give in my name. 29. It will say, hello, Basim. You are 29 years old. All right. So yeah. Okay. Then there are different things that we can use. Like there are many operators in Python. Okay. So like this is an equal to operator. This is giving the thing a value. So this is saying A is equal to 10, B is equal to 3. Okay. So if I want to write print A plus B, this will print out the value of A plus B. Okay. And in A minus B, that would give the value over here. Yeah. There is also the division, multiplication, right? Um, then there is also uh, percentage. This is called the modulus operator. So this is the same as division, but instead of giving the quotient, right? Like quotient, it will give the remainder. So 10 divided by 3 is 3 point something like, but then the remainder is 1. So this should give the remainder as 1, right? Okay. Okay. Then there are, so these are the normal arithmetic operators like that you use in maths, right? Then there is something called a conditional operator. So like we don't want all the code to execute every time. So we want to like check for some conditions. Okay. So if you are above 18, you are like an adult, right? And if you are less than 18, you are a student, a small child, right? So we can do that. So, okay. This is called an if statement, if condition. If the age is greater than or equal to 18, then we would write whatever we want to print. Yeah. Okay. Then if you are not 80, something else should be printed, right? So we'll write it inside the else statement. Right. So now the age is 15 over here. So this should print you are a child. Okay. If I make it something like 23, 234 also works, but see. So this is an if statement. Okay. So you can do like this, or like if you want more than two of this, like if and else, there is something called else if. You can check if it's in between something. Okay, so like else elif. Okay, it's elif inside Python. If it's greater than 12 and less than equal to 18, so let's just take 18 out, or let's make it 20. We can say that, oh sorry, forgot to write. So if you are somewhere in between, should show you are a teenager. Hmm. Okay, so um, so we found these are variables, right? So variables can be like strings. This is a string, okay? It's like some here, and this is numbers, uh, and it can also be like decimal numbers. So, and there is also something called like a Boolean value. So that's basically true or false. So these are all like the types of variables you can have in Python. Okay. So let's try something else. Okay. Uh, let's make a program that like asks a number, and we will tell if it is odd or even. Okay. So number is equal to. So we can use the modulus operator. When you like divide it with 2, if the remainder is 0, we would print the number is even. Else we will print the number is odd. So I'll give 25. So that's uh, I should take it as. So yeah, this is like whenever we give an input, it's always taken as a string in Python. So we need to convert it into a integer value. That's why we use this. Okay. So another thing we use in Python and normally in coding is a loop. A loop is something that we need to do again and again, right? So we won't stop until one condition is met. Okay. So like, okay, if you're searching for something inside your house, you will go and check your bedroom. If it's not there, you will go and check the other rooms in your house, like even the hall, in your living room, in your dining room. So similarly, we will use a loop to see if something is done. Like once it is finished, only we will stop the loop. Okay. So this is a for loop. Yeah. Yeah. So what this does is like uh, the I will start from 0 and it will go up until 10. And once it reaches 10 only, it will stop. So let's just print something. And so this should print 10 times. Hello. Hello, 0, 1, 2, 3. It will not go to 10. Like once it reaches 10, it will stop. It will not do it again. Okay. So there is another loop also. Like, this is a while loop. So inside the while loop, the number is not increased automatically. So we need to increase the number ourselves. So we'll write count is equal to count plus 1. We can also write count plus equals 1, but it is confusing. So you can just use count equal to count plus 1. So this should count till 10, just like this. Then there is something like when you in one variable, now we are only storing one value, right? So when we want to store a list of values, something like fruits, yeah. So we'll use something called a list, or in other programming language, people call it array. So we'll use the square brackets and we'll just give whatever we want inside here. So like apple, orange, banana, grapes. Yeah. Yeah. So like inside this list, if I just do print fruits, it will print everything. But if I just want to take just one of it out, okay. So this is all numbered. Okay. So the apple will be 0, orange will be 1, 2, and 3. Like Python counts from 0. Okay. So if I want to just print banana, I would do fruits and then I'll do the square brackets and then I press 2 because this is the second one, second index we'll say. And then if you run it, it should print just banana. Right. Uh, We can also get the length of this list using the length function. So we'll do len is the length function, and we'll just pass in the the variable name of that, and it should print 4. Yeah. Okay. Um, so at the start of the session, like we did something like this, right? Like I printed the name again and again. We were doing the same thing, right? We needed to copy and paste the whole thing again. But instead of that, we can use something called a function. So if I will um, use a function name, so we can give any name we want. So I'll do like say hello, and then this brackets is given. Yeah. So inside the brackets, this is whatever we pass to the function. Like I'll show it in 1 minute. So this is the same thing that we did before, right? So if I just run this, it won't do anything. Okay. But instead, if I like, okay, somebody new comes into your room, you just do, and then it should print hello Samir, hello Rifaz. Okay. So this is a function, like you can just use the function again and again. You don't have to write the code again. Okay. Right. So now let's, with all these things, we can just create a small guessing game if you want. Okay. So this import random is we are trying to call a random, uh, like the computer will use a random number. Okay. So this is a function that will automatically take a random number. So this is, so we want a number between 1 and 10. Okay. So this will put a number between 1 and 10 in this. So every time we run this code, it will change. It's a random number. Okay. So what we did here is like we will take a number. Okay. It will be saved in the number variable. Okay. Then it will ask us guess a number between 1 and 10. And then you can type in any number. And if the number is the same, here it will check if it's the same. It will say you win. Otherwise, it will say, no, I was thinking of this number. So if I do 5, okay. Mm, second. Let's try that again. Oh, sorry about that. I think my network went. Okay, so I typed in 5. It says no, sorry, the number was 3. Let's try again. So I'll type in 7. Sorry, the number was 3. Is it taking the same number again? Let's nope. Okay, when I press 3, it says sorry, the number was 6. Okay. Yeah. So anybody have any questions about this? Like, any part of this? Or was I going too fast? Okay. So just like this, we can try making something like a rock, paper, scissors game, right? So rock. The computer will choose some. So let's do 2. Yeah. Uh, it says my internet connection is unstable. Can you guys hear me? Is anything like is everything okay? Okay, cool. Okay. So yeah. So what we'll be doing is like the choices is rock, paper, and scissors. We'll make the computer choose a random number between rock, paper, and scissors, and then we will also put 1 for rock, 2 for paper, and 3 for scissors. Okay, and then we'll do the conditional operators like if. Okay, choices. Okay, if yours and the computer is saying the same thing, like if you both choose rock, basically it's a draw, right? Okay, else if computer is rock, then we can type and we choose paper. Okay. So I'll show you something that we can do. So there are a lot of win states, right? Like if it's a rock and paper, if it's a paper and scissors, and if it's like the rock and scissors. So we can put brackets like this and then do or this would be paper and scissors. Okay. Yeah. So if the computer chooses rock and you choose paper, you win. If the computer chooses scissors and you choose rock, then also you will win. If the computer chooses paper and you choose scissors, then also you will win. Anything else, it's a lose, right? If both of you are the same, it's a draw. Okay. So I will type in the number one because I want to choose rock. Okay. This just says you win, but okay, we should also show what happened. Otherwise, oh, it's just saying you win, you lose. So let's do something like that. Just move it up here so that okay, we'll do the same thing again. Okay, I'll use scissors. Mm. Okay, we need to make it into wait. Oh yeah, it should not be. We should put it as 0, 1, 2. The scissors is not inside the list range. That's the error. We'll try again. Yeah, let's go scissors. So yeah, computer chose paper and you chose scissors. You win. Let's try to lose. It's random, so I cannot say that we will lose. Yeah, computer chose paper. You chose rock. You lose. So yeah. So yeah, this is just the basics of Python. This can get you going. Like I cannot cover the whole topic. Like even in school or college when you learn coding, you cannot completely cover anything. Like this will just get you going, like and everything else. Like so many people, like even when you're doing a job, you have to go through Google or like you need to research yourself and figure out solutions. Basically, programming is problem solving. So yeah, uh, this was a short and brief introduction into Python and beginner coding. So let's move on to the questions if anybody has any. Okay, I see nobody has any question. Okay, so yeah, let's go through whatever we learned right now. So yeah, variables are something that we can reuse again. Like we'll just give it a name, and then we can call everywhere using the name. Okay, it has different data types. Like it can be a string over here. Yeah, it can be a string. It can be a number. It can be a decimal number, or it can be of uh, Boolean type. Okay, and then yeah, to take an input, we use the input function, and then whatever we get from the input, we can store in a variable, and then use it inside the program, right? So these are the different kinds of operators that we can use. There are more operators like uh, the exponent functions, the logarithm, square roots. But yeah, that's when you are using the scientific or data analysis part that you'll need them. Okay. And then we went through the conditional statements, the if statements, else if, the else. Okay. And then when we went through the loops, this is a for loop and this is a while loop. You will use that in your programming journey a lot. And then we did um, two small games, you can say, right? Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone, for joining today's session. A special thanks to Mr. Basim Rauf for such an engaging session on Python and coding for beginners. Today, we learned how Python is easy to start and how coding helps us solve problems step by step. Now, the participants will be skilled to create apps, automate tasks, and even work with AI in the future. So, before we end, I want to remind all our participants of one thing: every expert was once a beginner. What matters most is your curiosity and willingness to practice. So keep explore and keep trying. Once again, I thank Mr. Basim Rauf for this wonderful session and thank all our participants for your presence. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining.